Korea, a peninsula in Asia now divided into two countries. In this video, I'm going to talk about the history of Korean flags and how they have evolved into the current South Korea flag that we all know today. Today, since 1948, the peninsula is divided into North and South Korea, or officially the Democratic People's Republic of Korea in the north and the Republic of Korea in the south. They have very different flags these days, but for most of their history, they were represented by the same symbols. So let's travel back and look at that common history. Like most regions, the use of flags didn't come up until fairly recently in history. With Korea, we can travel back a long time to its formation. The First Kingdom in 700 BC, then the Three Kingdoms in 18 BC, the North-South Kingdoms in 698, but none of these had an official flag, or generalized standard or even symbol that represented the nation of Korea. Arguably, we could say that some of their customs were what represented them. For the first appearance of an actual flag, we need to go forward a little more, to the Kingdom of Goryeo. The Kingdom of Goryeo existed from 918 to 1392, having pretty much all the peninsula as its territory. Despite not having a national flag for the nation of Korea, they did have a royal flag, this one, and also a royal seal. The royal flag of the Goryeo dynasty, known as the Phoenix flag, was adopted around 960, and I think we can mark this date as the time when Korea had their first flag. After the Goryeo dynasty came the Joseon dynasty, who were in control of the kingdom of Joseon. There was also not an official national flag, but the dynasty had their own royal standard, whose symbols are very much similar to those of the current flag of South Korea. In the center, we see what could be perceived as a Taeguk circle, surrounded by 8 trigrams, which represent the process of yin and yang going through a spiral of change and growth. I'll talk more about these symbols when we get to the current South Korean flag. They also had a royal coat of arms, red with a golden dragon. For most of its existence, the Joseon kingdom used its royal flag, with no national flag. We have to fast forward to 1876 to understand why the national flag was created. The issue came up during the negotiations for the Japan-Korea Treaty of 1876. The delegate of the Empire of Japan displayed the Japanese national flag, but the Joseon dynasty had none to display. And so, the discussion for the creation of a national flag began. A few proposals wanted to make a flag in similarity to that of Qing China, and some examples still exist of these options. They ended up choosing to use their own traditional symbols, already on display on the Joseon royal standard. However, reducing the number of trigrams from 8 to 4, with the exception of the consulate flag, which at the time kept the 8. The colors of the flag were also more similar to those of Japan than to China. Some say that the creator of the flag, Park Yong-yo, was a pro-Japanese politician, so this might be the reason why. However, this isn't 100% confirmed. On January 27th of 1883, the Joseon government officially promulgated this flag, Taegukgi, to be used as the official national flag of Korea. The Joseon kingdom lasted until 1897, time when it transformed itself into the Great Korean Empire, keeping this same flag and only altering its imperial seal to a 5-petal flower. The imperial emblem, on the other hand, became an eagle with many Taeguk circles in it. In 1905, Korea became a Japanese protectorate, and in 1910 they were fully annexed by the Japanese Empire, beginning 35 years of colonial rule. After World War II, with the capitulation of Japan, Korea regained its independence. The provisional government of the Republic of Korea, ruling over the entire peninsula, only existed for a few years, using the same flag as the previous Empire of Korea. In fact, the resistance movements against Japanese occupation had kept this same flag in use since 1919. After the partition of the peninsula by the US and the Soviet Union, each of the countries began their establishment as sovereign nations. However, both of them, even the North, kept this same flag, the North flying it alongside with the flag of the Soviet Union at the time. Eventually, in 1948, North Korea changed their flag to the current one, which they still have today. South Korea kept the same flag as their historic predecessors. In 1949, the flag was declared official by the country's government. Later on, in 1997, the exact colors of the flag were defined through presidential decree. So these are the flags of Korea today. Like I said, they kept the historic flag of the kingdom, representing the history and values of its people and culture. A white field representing the purity of the Korean people and their peace-loving spirit. The circle divided equally and in perfect balance. The red upper section represents the yang and the blue lower section represents the yin. According to traditional Oriental philosophy, the two symbolize the great cosmic forces which oppose each other but achieve perfect harmony and balance. This is known as the Taeguk circle, which stands for the eternal principle that everything in the universe is created through the interaction between yin and yang, symbolizing creation and development. Around the circle are the 4 trigrams, which we saw were already present in the Joseon dynasty flag. They represent the process of yin and yang going through a spiral of change and growth. The 3 unbroken lines at the upper left represent heaven. The 3 broken lines at the lower right represent earth. The ones in the upper right, water, and the other ones represent fire. The 4 elements, I guess. Other flags are also used in South Korea, like the presidential standard or the standard of the prime minister, which use the 5-petaled flower, not the same but perhaps influenced by the seal of the Empire of Korea. And then there are regional flags, some of which make you wonder what whoever designed them was thinking, like this flag of Daejeon or the flag of Ulsan. I'm not sure if they're still in use, but they look pretty bad. And finally, there is the unification flag of North and South Korea, a white field with the peninsula displayed in light blue color in its center, a flag symbolizing the hope that perhaps one day in the future the nation of Korea will be united again. Although I guess that if this unification took place, it would make sense that the current South Korean flag would be the one put into use. Not only is it the historical flag of all of Korea since its times as a kingdom, but also because the unification would necessarily mean the dissolution of the oppressive regime in the north, symbolized by its flag. So that is a brief look at the history and meaning of the flags of Korea. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to subscribe to catch future ones and leave any suggestions or corrections in the comments below. Until next time.